Human rights issues in the sentencing process of the accused. अभियुक्त को सजा देने की प्रक्रिया में मानवाधिकारों के मुद्दे. The sentencing process is a critical phase in the criminal justice system where the court determines the punishment for a convicted individual. However, this process must align with the principles of fairness, justice, and human rights. सजा देने की प्रक्रिया में अभियुक्त के अधिकारों की सुरक्षा सुनिश्चित करना आवश्यक है क्योंकि यह उनकी गरिमा, स्वतंत्रता और जीवन के अधिकार से संबंधित है. Importance of human rights in sentencing. सजाए में मानवाधिकारों का महत्व. 1. Protection of dignity, गरिमा की रक्षा. Every individual, including the accused, possesses inherent dignity that must not be compromised even during punishment. Example: death penalty cases often highlight debates around human dignity and whether capital punishment violates the right to life. 2. Right to a fair trial, न्यायपूर्ण सुनवाई का अधिकार. Sentencing must be based on a fair trial where the accused is given an opportunity to present their case without bias or discrimination. 3. Proportionality of punishment, सजा की समानुपातिता. Punishments must be proportional to the gravity of the offence committed. अत्यधिक कठोर सजा मानवाधिकारों का उल्लंघन मानी जा सकती है. 4. Prevention of cruel and inhuman punishment, क्रूर और अमानवीय दंड की रोकथाम. International conventions, such as the UN Convention Against Torture, prohibit cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment, which must be upheld in the sentencing process. Key human rights issues in sentencing. सजा देने में मानवाधिकारों से संबंधित मुख्य मुद्दे. 1. Arbitrary sentencing, मनमानी सजा. Courts sometimes issue sentences without adequate reasoning or based on judicial discretion, leading to inconsistency. Example: समान अपराधों के लिए अलग-अलग सजा देना अन्यायपूर्ण हो सकता है. Death penalty, मृत्युदंड. The death penalty remains a contentious issue worldwide. Critics argue that it violates the right to life under Article 21 of the Indian Constitution and Article 3 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Example: Bachan Singh versus State of Punjab, 1980. The Supreme Court upheld the death penalty, but emphasized it should be imposed only in the rarest of rare cases. 3. Prejudices in sentencing, saza mein purvagra. Social biases, such as caste, religion, or gender, sometimes influence judicial decisions, leading to discrimination. Example: marginalized groups and minorities are often disproportionately targeted for harsher punishments. 4. Delay in sentencing, zamindari. Delays in the sentencing process violate the accused's right to a speedy trial. Example: unnecessary delays increase mental agony for the accused, which is considered a violation of human rights. Use of torture for confessions, figuratikulia yatana. Forced confessions obtained through torture or coercion violate human rights and undermine the fairness of the sentencing process. Example: international conventions, such as the Interpolitical Rights (ICCPR), prohibit such practices. 6. Juvenile sentencing, kisharoka seja. Punishing juveniles as adults, especially for heinous crimes, raises questions about their right to rehabilitation. Example: Juvenile Justice, Care and Protection of Children Act 2015 ensures special provisions for juvenile offenders. Landmark cases highlighting human rights issues महत्वपूर्ण मामले जो मानवाधिकार मुद्दों को दर्शाते हैं. 1. Maneka Gandhi versus Union of India, 1978, broadened the interpretation of Article 21, right to life, and linked it with due process. सजा के दौरान उचित प्रक्रिया का पालन करना आवश्यक है. Rajiv Gandhi assassination case, 2-14, Supreme Court commuted the death sentences of convicts to life imprisonment due to inordinate delays in execution. Lambe समय तक मौत की सजा को लाग मानसिक यातना मानी गई. 3. Roper versus Simmons 5, juveniles cannot be sentenced to death as it violates human rights. यह मामला किशोर अपराधियों के पुनर्वास के अधिकार को मजबूत करता है. Steps to address human rights concerns in sentencing. सजा में मानवाधिकार समस्याओं के समाधान के उपाय. 1. Judicial training. Judges must be sensitized about human rights principles to ensure fair and unbiased sentencing. 2. Proportional sentencing framework, Samanupatik Sazaki Rubreka. Courts should adopt clear guidelines for proportionality in sentencing to avoid arbitrariness. 3. Use of alternative punishments, Wekapik Gaupyog. Emphasis should be placed on community service, probation, or rehabilitation programs instead of incarceration. Example, restorative justice programs for minor offences. 4. Safeguards against torture, Yatana ke khilaf, Suraksha. Strict implementation of laws and conventions prohibiting torture during investigations and trials. 5. Review mechanisms. Pranali, establish review boards to examine the fairness and appropriateness of sentences. The sentencing process must be rooted in justice, fairness and respect for human rights. यह आवश्यक है कि सजा देने की प्रक्रिया मानवीय हो और अभियुक्त के अधिकारों की रक्षा करे. Indian courts, through their progressive judgments, have attempted to address these issues, but challenges such as delays, biases, and inconsistency persist. Reforms in the sentencing process, such as proportionality, alternative punishments, and greater judicial accountability, are essential for safeguarding human rights and maintaining public trust in the justice system.